That is crazy. I've never seen this here before. A serious log jam. Alright guys, last night when Keegan and I came home, it was flooding. We had even trouble making it home last night. The places where there's no creeks, there was rushing waters. And when I drove him back here to where his yurt was, and Sarah was evacuating the yurt with the children, and they got flooded out. So I helped them move back into our add-on last night, and now I'm going to drive back there to assess all the damage. So here we go. This spot rarely ever flows with water. Crazy. Okay, so here's the yurt. We put it up just a few days ago, and I don't know if you all can see this, but water is just running like crazy through here. Nathan, would you go and stand in there so we can show how it's running? So last night this was running up, and then it was flowing into the yurt. The water was. And it's still doing this even after it hasn't rained for hours, and actually the sun's coming out beautifully. Okay. Okay, guys, share really quickly what happened last night.
So last night, when the rain started, water started coming through a couple of small tears in the floor that I had not yet fixed. And as the water started seeping, thankfully we had gone through flooding in Maine, so I started lifting up as much as I could off the ground.
Knew what to do.
So, been through it before, so we knew what to do. Had the kids already asleep in one area, and so I just kind of let things go. And then a little while later, when the second really heavy rain started hitting, all I could hear was rain pounding, rushing water, and then it came up over the sides of our floor covering, and water just started pouring in and filling the area and
flash flooding inside the yurt.
Inside the yurt. So I was able to grab the kids and get them to the vehicle, and that's just when Keegan and Kip showed up.
When I showed up, finding my wife, trying to get the children into the vehicle, walking through ankle-deep water, and came into the yurt to find ankle-deep water in the yurt.
Calf-deep water.
Yeah, it was mid-calf around the yurt and starting to come up inside.
So here we are the next morning and trying to do some cleanup, assess the damage. As you can see, a lot of clothing and garments have gotten soaked. There's still standing pools of water in certain areas. So we have a lot to work on. The most dangerous part is the fact that the insulation is wicking up the water. That can ruin the insulation since it's made out of felt. So our need is that we need to build a platform. We thought we'd have time to put it temporarily on the ground like it is now and build a platform, but it looks like that need is much more urgent than we originally had predicted. So we need to build a platform and get us up off the ground so this can't happen again, and to keep things from becoming flooded.
And there were a few items, well, quite a few items that got wet.
Yeah, so there may be some things that we need to replace, stuff for the baby and things. We're gonna see how much we can salvage washing and cleaning, but gonna have some items to replace, so that may be minor need though. It's just stuff.
Okay, so what me and Carrie's on our hearts to do is to create a fundraiser on Facebook, and so we're going to be creating that fundraiser, and it should be up by the time this video comes up. So if any of you have it on your heart to want to be able to give to them, please go over to Facebook to our Thousands of Roots page. It's a group page, and it's the number 1000 thousands of roots, and it's a group that we created over there, and there's going to be a fundraiser for the Kellogg family to help them replace everything that was destroyed in this flood, and then for us to be able to have the finances to build a platform for them. So I'm not telling you you have to. I'm not showing you a sob story and trying to make you do anything that you don't want to do. But if it's on your heart to do this, then we want to create an avenue for you to be able to help them if you so desire.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey guys, so I wanted to say that I know my family is not alone in this storm that hit Missouri. There's many people who are just as bad off, if not worse, lost their entire homes. At least my yurt is still standing. It wasn't blown away, it wasn't destroyed. So I just wanted to share that. I get it, we're not alone. I just want to share our story and our journey, what we're dealing with. So if you desire to help out with that, great. But there's many other people who need help as well. And I just appreciate your prayers, appreciate your help, and appreciate your thoughts.
Alright you guys, I just came walking down the path. There, see, Keegan and Sarah's yurt is just 50 yards that way. And I wanted to see if the water had come over the bank here from the creek, and I found something crazy I've never seen here before. So here's the creek right here, and you've seen this spot actually on several videos. Just a beautiful babbling creek. But then look at that. Crazy. That is crazy. We have, and you can see the debris, and the debris line coming back up the path towards their yurt. It stops it here, so it doesn't look like it actually made it over. That's the top, that's the peak of the path to the yurt. So it looks like the water made it to here. This is where it crested, and then it went all through that, and made a log jam. This is a log jam. I've never seen this here before. A serious log jam. Wow. My boys are gonna love this.
Hey guys, just wanted to give a quick garden update. I know it kind of seems silly to me to be sharing about a flooded garden in the same video talking about an entire home being flooded, but for those who've been watching our garden videos, I thought you might appreciate a quick update. So yes, our garden flooded despite our best efforts to create temporary trenches to allow pathways for the water to flow. The trenches unfortunately weren't able to handle the amount of water that came so quickly. Just to give some perspective, our root cellar was about a foot deep of water within just a matter of minutes, really. I don't think we've ever seen a storm quite like this one. Our eventual goal is to have many different water diversion catchment systems to protect our home and garden space from flooding, and we just have not been able to get those systems in place yet, so we've been using temporary trenches, and so we definitely have a lot more work to do in that way. And I'm thankful that the temporary trenches did prevent some damage. I'm also really thankful that I decided to plant early this year, and much of what we put in the ground already had established roots, so thankfully we didn't lose much at all. It was only some little tiny seedlings that were lost, and we're at the beginning of May, so there's still plenty of time to replant and get those plants going. I'll just show you a little bit of what's going on out there in the garden real quick here before we close out the video. So we have about 2 to 3 acres worth of pasture out there that runs in major rain events. Flows right down in front of our house, alongside our greenhouse here, and then straight potentially out into our whole garden space. A little trench was dug there, goes behind the block, and then yesterday the guys set up this whole area, put the block there and dug a trench out through the chicken yard. So thankfully this whole side of the garden did not flood. It's our whole new section. It's doing great. And a lot of the area out past this area didn't flood as bad. Real quick, I'll just say that the French drain is working. There was about a foot of water down in here just last night, and by morning it was completely drained out. It's still a little mucky in the root cellar, but the French drain worked. So that's great to know. So here you can see a little bit where the wood chips were all just kind of washed out, but nothing was damaged. I've already been working out here trying to get the wood chips back in place. The water came flooding through our tunnels here and washed through our poor little lettuce plants, but they look like they're gonna survive. So I've been working on getting the wood chips out of the beds and back in the pathway, but most everything has pretty good roots and it seems to be holding strong here. Over here by Joseph's bed is where the worst of the floodwaters came through. We put some blocks here and the water still just gushed right past the blocks, and then comes through this trench here, and it's supposed to go right out alongside our compost and out down to the creek, but it got backed up and overflowed down here, and so this whole back of the garden was completely washed out. But amazingly, we still have little plants holding strong. You can tell where the water was. It's got mud all the way up to the top of its leaves there. But I think they're gonna make it. I had a few little plants back here that were buried that I had to uncover. Some little seedlings that I unburied, and this one's looking a little bit sad. Still a little calendula, but I'm hoping it'll perk back up. And Esther's area over here took the brunt of the flood. She's her area is the far corner, the lowest point of the garden, and so it's just completely piled high with wood chips over here. Had to come out and dig up her little, she had little red oric and strawberries back here. Lost quite a few of them, but we saved some of them, so hopefully those make it. But you can tell the wood chips are as high as the raised bed over here at the far corner. They just piled up here. There's a comfrey leaf that got buried. Still got some buried radishes I need to dig out. Got covered in wood chips here. But hopefully they'll make it just fine. Josh's bed over here was hit pretty hard too. The waters came right through his bed. Washed out most of the compost, and he had just planted corn in here, so we're gonna have to put new compost and plant more corn. But looks like his little melons have survived. He's got a few melons in there. I think they're gonna make it. So we've got a bit of organization work to do out here, getting wood chips where they belong, and probably need to add some more compost to a few areas, dig out a few more plants, but I'm just so thankful. It's like a miracle that these plants have survived what they went through. Last night when the waters came through and I looked out here, I just thought, oh man, we've lost our whole garden. But came out this morning and it's just been such a blessing to see that these plants held strong by their roots, and they're gonna make it. So hopefully more garden updates to come. Thank you all so much for caring about our lives here at Thousands of Roots. Thank you for all your prayers and thoughts toward the Kellogg family. So we pray blessings over you and yours, and whatever you do, do it with your whole heart.
You mean a disaster just occurred? Are you kidding me?